in the heart of our field.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and then there was a whole lot of rejigging, and in fact recently we now have a well-established Federal Ministry of Livestock Development. All these activities that have been carried out from that declaration until now, we want to do a farmer's perspective analysis. How has that declaration turned into, how has that declaration come out to result? What have farmers actually felt, the benefits or the activities from that declaration? And I'm not going to be having that conversation alone. We have a very astute guest with us today that will be having that conversation, and yes, he is a man wearing many caps. You would soon get to find out. So let me just quickly introduce our guest today. He is Engineer ERNEST NTUK. Engineer ERNEST NTUK is a farmer and CEO of Faringimba Rice, where he cultivates and mills rice in Kaduna State. He is also an environmentalist and a real estate developer. Wow. Mr. ERNEST, Engineer ERNEST, it's nice to have you on the show.
Nice to have you too. Thank you very much.
So you see from your name down to your introduction, you are an engineer. But I'm very certain that is by academic background, and I'm sure you're practicing too. And then you're a farmer and CEO of Faringimba Rice. Tell us about Faringimba Rice. Tell us about your farm exploit and why you left, if you have left engineering.
Yeah, Faringimba Rice, it's by name Faringimba. It's an upland rice.
Okay.
And we have been cultivating in some parts of Kaduna and Kogi State, and also from Taraba, where we get paddies from.
Okay.
But we meet in Sulija.
Oh, okay.
So you can see we are in Abuja, in Buhari.
Okay.
Then we are in Kaduna, we're in Kachia, we're in Kagariko, we're in Ida, and we're in Kogi, and in Taraba we get paddy from there, and then we process our rice at Sulija.
Okay.
And it's been beautiful growing upland rice, because it's the kind of rice that you can grow for all
seasons. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the government has done excellently well by ensuring that most of us smallholder farmers have access to land and have access to some good things that would help us. But of course, Mr. President declaring a state of emergency on...
Sorry, let me cut you there. We will get into that. In fact, I'm already thinking if you're the right man for this, because it seems you're already positively favored factor to the government and its intervention. But yes, we'll go into that. We just wanted to establish your authority as a farmer, and also understand how you navigate, because currently in the current climate, so many people feel that farming is a dirty man's job. So if you went to school, you got your title as an engineer, you are a real estate developer, you're an environmentalist, and all of that. Why agriculture? Why are you in the farming business? You're not just milling rice, you're actually farming rice. So why are you in that business?
Well, agriculture today is new money. It has always been there. It has always been there. And I picked a particular interest in agriculture because, of course, feeding is a constant. And rice is a stable food for everyone in Nigeria and as well around the entire world. So anyone who picks up an investment in the cultivation or milling of rice is definitely going to make an A on the return on investment.
Wow.
So I'm a businessman, and I'm also an agri-entrepreneur, and away from processing, I find myself within the agricultural food chain, where I do a lot more within production as well.
Okay.
So, but when you mention trying to navigate, it's like I'm a farmer in the morning, at night I'm a real estate developer.
That's quite interesting. So yes, we are going to be going into. So I needed to establish your authority as a farmer, and let us know what exactly you do, and that's fine. And then, so the topic of today's conversation is going to be the President's declaration of state of emergency on agriculture. How far so far? The farmer's perspective. And let me also say this is going to be a two-part conversation, because we are going to be analyzing all the different we're going to be analyzing each of the immediate action steps that he had declared and see how far so far. But before we go into that, we are going to take a short break, and when we are back, we analyze each of the immediate action steps of the state of emergency declaration. See you after the break.
In the heart of our fields lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe, agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 9:30 a.m. Monday to
Hello, good morning, and welcome to another episode
of our fields lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms.
Welcome back from that short break. I'm sure someone is excited and you're ready to listen and understand from the farmer's perspective the state of emergency declaration by the president. Basically, since his inception into office, this is 1 year plus now. How far so far from the farmer? Okay, so let's just go right into it. This is going to be a two-part conversation. So after this episode, because there were like 17 declarations and we are going to maybe just deal with probably 7 or 8 today, and then in the next episode we will now continue the rest. So Engineer Ntuk, or Farmer Ntuk, pardon me to call you because we are talking agricultural issues there. Sure, yes, Farmer Ntuk. So the first and immediate action that the president had declared during his state of emergency, the next step of action was inclusion of food and water availability and affordability issues within the purview of the National Security Council. So this used to be in the purview of the Federal Executive Council, and he has now shifted it to the purview of the National Security Council. So the question is, I know from the farmer's perspective, but let us go a bit into the admin. Now, what's the relevance of that, and as a farmer, what have you seen as the benefit of moving food and water availability and affordability to the purview of the National Security Council?
Well, Mr. President moving food and water into the office of the National Security Advisor. Basically, you would see that insurgency has been striving and succeeding basically within the rural area. And that has been happening because the militias or the militants are always going after villages, and it's in those villages you find farmers who are actually cultivating. Cultivation lands are found in rural areas, and that's where the food basket is. That's where you have the farm gate. So insurgency goes after farmers, and it in turn affects food supply in the open market and also on our tables. Mr. President carefully thought it out and has pushed it from the National Executive Council to the office of the National Security Advisor so that it could be addressed as a security and a terrorist threat to not just farmers but the entire nation. Because of course, if militants should get hold of our water supply and our food supply, they could bring this country to our knees. And so it is beyond the executives looking at. It is something that is threatening the very fiber of our nation. If a criminal should take hold of your water supply in your house and then takes control of your kitchen, I'm sure within no distant time you will surrender. So I guess this is the angle via which Mr. President is actually looking at things.
Interesting. So you believe that it was a step in the right direction,
yes, of course,
moving into the probably yes, and of course I think I want to agree with you because there has been issues of security threats, and so many farms have been inhabitable now, uncultivatable because of the challenges going on. So let's move. Like we said, it's a 17th step, and so we are talking from the farmer's angle. Deployment of initiatives to reverse the inflationary trend and ensure future supplies of affordable food. 1 year, almost 8 months down the line. 1 year, 8 months down the line.
It's increasing.
Has there been a reverse in the inflationary trend?
Well, of course, policies on agriculture just started at the advent of Mr. President. And
did it?
Yes, of course.
There has been policies prior.
Yes, but of course we are looking at renewed hope policies.
Okay.
Now, of course, like you mentioned earlier, the change from Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security automatically defines what
the parameters,
the parameter, what we're actually looking at. And so we have to give it some time to begin to come up. The change from National Executive Council to the
National
NIA, it's also a change in the right direction, which complements this. Yes, it kind of complements it, because now you will begin to see, of course, in the coming days, we begin to see how things will change. For now, the food price has stabilized.
Farmer Ntuk,
yes.
Let us say the president has your ears. What do you think would be done to? You say, your last statement said food prices have stabilized.
Stabilized, yes. For some time now, it has actually stabilized. It's no longer going up.
Oh, okay.
So when we begin to see the harvest coming out, when we begin to see the implementations, of course, the setting up of an institution or a board to manage most of these items, most of these things that have been put in place, you begin to see them materialize.
Are they? So this stability, which according to you is your perspective. Now, this stability, because I don't think I want to agree with the stability in food prices. Items are still going up. I'm yet to feel it yet, but probably I'm yet to feel it. But so the question is, this stability that you claim now, is it a direct result of the president's initiatives?
Well, of course, you would see what the army is actually doing currently in Baga. Baga was a very huge place for Nigerian fish. Yes, that's where a whole lot of Nigerian within the fishery industry, so to speak, was coming from Maiduguri, and the militants took over that particular area in Borno, and they held it captive. And when they were able to chase away the entire farmers, they begin to do the fishing business and exporting it, and now Nigeria wasn't actually having fish to feed anymore. This is just an example. But with the policies of Mr. President aiming at what the NSA are actually doing now, you can see that farmers have returned back to Baga. Farmers are returning back to rice farm. Of course, I have to speak on rice farming more often after this is my territory.
Yes.
So you see that our people are beginning to go back to farm because of security confidence. They've activated forest guard, and in some of our areas where we farm, like in Kachia, you will be there, and before you know it, you will not believe it, the forest guard will just come to you, saying hi to you, greeting you. That means now we are having that present. More people within the rural enclave has been incorporated into the security system, and basically they are working within the forest territory. So I think gradually most of these things will be seen.
Wow. Okay, so you believe that we are on the path to reversing the inflationary trend. And interesting, your perspective, and it's an interesting perspective. So the third action he mentioned was short-term strategy to use savings from fuel subsidy removal to revamp the agricultural sector. Have you, as a farmer, have you benefited, or do you know farmers that have benefited from some?
No. I wouldn't really say that there's been that impact reinvesting what has been collected from subsidy. I wouldn't really say that, because of course we are still buying pesticides at the rate that we're buying. We're still buying fertilizer, urea, for example, that we're using cultivating rice. It's still very expensive, and farmers should have access to this fertilizer, good seedlings at next to nothing prices, to show that there is a cushioning at the interim for farmers, which will in turn implement on the rising cost of food items. But we are not seeing that. The monopoly of fertilizer is still there. It's one person. So a lot of government should take that fund and invest into fertilizer manufacturing companies. Invite stakeholders within that sector to pick up these funds as maybe as a grant or as loan, to invest in pest control, invest in seedlings, invest in farm utensils, equipment. That way the farmer will be able to feel and say, oh yes, we're having succor. And in turn, if the farmer finds fertilizer at an affordable rate, finds his equipment as an affordable rate, pesticides at an affordable rate, the outcome, the harvest of the farmer will in turn be sold at farm gate rates, even in the open market. Yes, so we can't really say on that we're actually feeling the impact of
not yet. Okay, so I think this is also a follow-up. Release of fertilizers and grains to farmers and households free as immediate intervention.
Honestly.
Okay, yes, please.
Yes, that should be done.
The question is between then, about 1 year plus into his government after that declaration, and now, the question is, have you known any farmer that has received free fertilizer within your circle?
Well, in local government, well, of course, we saw fertilizers coming in, but they came in as donations from politicians. Yes, and they came in as donations through the party. Through political channels.
And you believe intervention from the federal government should not follow that route?
Well, of course, Mr. President has entrusted so much on the legislators as well as the executive.
Were the fertilizers that were received through the political route from the federal government?
Yes, of course, it was from federal government, but of course the politicians took glory for it.
Meaning that our entire agricultural interventions have been politicized?
No, I wouldn't really say that it has been politicized. But
because if any farmer that is not a member of that political party will not be privy to it. But were you privy to it?
No, I'm not.
You've not.
I still buy my fertilizer.
Is it because you're not a member of the political party? we need to, Okay. Anyway, thank you. That's your perspective, though. Yes. That's your perspective. Because, like we keep saying, we are trying to get a farmer's perspective into the effects, how far so far, of this declaration.
Like I would like to say something on this particular one. If intentionally we want to be vengeful about the supply of fertilizers, seedlings, and more, I strongly believe that it should be given to capable hands, people within the industry. For example, if you intend to share fertilizer like urea, you should contact the leadership of RAFAN. RAFAN is the umbrella body that manages rice farmers in Nigeria. Yes, you should look at Nigerian commercial farmers as a body. These are bodies that are managing farmers, and then you entrust these things, and then you see that it would actually get to the bottom. It would actually get to the very farmer, at home. But of course, when you see rice and fertilizers given to politicians as palliatives, they take it back home and then they take the glory for supplying this. And then what do you expect? A politician can only for once just represent a political party, and of course the supporters and people of that political party will be the beneficiaries of those things. And most of the times the beneficiaries of these items are not actually farmers, and so they take it and then intend to sell it to those who are farmers. So the cycle just keeps turning out, and the real farmers don't get to benefit directly. They don't have that direct impact.
I get your point, and then this is something that we need to also check, politicizing of these kind of interventions that come into the business, because of course, like you've mentioned, some of the beneficiaries are not necessarily farmers. In our term, we like calling them portfolio farmers. These people that carry a whole lot of files, business plans, and all of that. Okay, so let's just take this last one before I think we will call it a wrap for this particular show. Urgent synergy between the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Water Resources to ensure adequate irrigation and all year-round farming. I'm happy you're farming in the north, and where we tend to have less rainfall and have more strong need for irrigation. So have you? And then please try not to limit your responses to your personal experience. At least I'm sure you're in an ecosystem. You know farmers around that area. You know fellow rice farmers. Have you seen any results, any irrigation interventions that have come to you because the federal government, the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Water Resources are having a close collabo?
Yes, a close collabo, like you would mention, would actually be seen and felt in the coming days. I take an example from the farm in Jerry. Federal government some years back established a massive farm. They cleared a large area, and then you will see predominantly rice cultivation there, beans, sorghum, you will see maize, you will see guinea corn, and the rest actually being cultivated in that part. And then you will see sprinkler. This is an infrastructure that was put in there by government, and it's actually connected to the river basin. And so, but this was done in yesteryears, and they're no longer functioning. Just a few of them is actually functioning over a massive hectare of land. So if this collaboration by the Ministry of Water Resources and Agriculture is going to work, you need infrastructure, intentional infrastructure, bringing the water from the basin into upland. You can't leave that to individual farmers to handle. Government must intentionally set up such infrastructure to cushion it. And so that collaboration you mentioned, to me, is eclectic for now.
I did not mention it's part of the 17 goals of the president. Thank you so much, Engineer ERNEST NTUK. That is all we'll be able to take today on the show. And of course, we will be good in another episode. We'll be continuing the rest of it to still analyze and see the farmers' perspective. Dear viewers, what is your own perspective? Continue this conversation with us on social media. Let us know what you have felt, how much you have felt of the declaration of the President of State of Emergency on Agriculture. Let us know, have you felt something deeper, or you've not even felt it at all? Let us, so that the President can have a feedback and know if it's actually working. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.
In the heart of our fields lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe, agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less, and harvest greener. Together, we are cultivating a future where every harvest sustains the earth and its people. Join us 9:30 a.m. Monday to Fridays on Aso TV, channel 392 DSTV, Star Times, channel 127, or YouTube live stream GSAI Initiative. Agriculture for today and tomorrow, as we share groundbreaking ideas, empowering farmers, and celebrate greenhouse solutions. Together, let's grow the future. In the heart of our fields lies the future of agriculture, sustainable, innovative, and powered by smart solutions. From the rich soil of Africa to high-tech farms around the globe, agriculture is evolving to meet the demands of tomorrow. At the intersection of tradition and technology, we discover smarter ways to grow more, waste less,